This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Allen. Emily Matson has the day off. Thanks for choosing USVI News. Governor Bryan has issued a state of emergency in the USVI today to control the impact of sargassum seaweed in the territory. President Biden approved the emergency declaration just today. Governor Bryan issued the executive order declaring a state of emergency in the territory because of the unusually high amounts of sargassum seaweed piling up on USVI shores. Water production capabilities on St. Croix have already been negatively affected, and teams from FEMA are already on the ground in the territory to coordinate a response to the emergency. The territory says maintenance efforts have already picked up to keep the water intake for the desalinization plant on St. Croix clear from any debris. The governor doesn't anticipate the water supply for St. Croix being impacted, but is urging everyone to conserve just in case. And all VI public schools will be able to return in person starting on August 8th. Acting Education Commissioner Victor Somm III says he looks forward to welcoming everyone back in person. According to the VI Department of Education, rumors circulated online that schools would only be virtual in 2022. The department says those rumors are simply false. School had previously operated under a virtual model due to COVID-19. And thanks to tips from the public, VIPD arrested a man this weekend wanted by the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. 26-year-old Arifane Foy was wanted by British Virgin Islands Police in connection with the June 21st murder of Mr. Corey Butler in Road Town. Police say Foy shot Butler during a robbery. Saturday, VIPD got word that he was hanging around the area of Clinton Phillips Racetrack on St. Thomas, so they responded to the area, spotted Foy, and arrested him. He was sent back to the BVI to face murder charges. The chief says this is a notable example of the police and community working together, and thanks the community for their assistance to get this alleged killer in police custody. And as we finally begin a new week, active COVID-19 cases are continuing to rise. Now this comes as the VI Department of Health confirms the more resistant BA4 and BA5 virus variants have been confirmed in the territory. Right now, there are currently 292 active COVID cases territory-wide, with 147 of them in St. Croix, 95 on St. Thomas, and 20 on St. John. Vaccine makers are currently working on a vaccine to target the new variants, which is expected to be available in the fall. And with the even more contagious BA5 subvariant surging nationwide, many people have new questions about their risk of COVID-19. Donya Bacchus brings us some answers.
COVID cases and hospitalizations are increasing across the country, with the highly contagious BA5 subvariant now accounting for about 78% of all COVID infections in the U.S. Now many people are asking, if they had COVID in the last 3 months, will they have immunity against this variant?
So if you got COVID 3 months ago, it's very likely you had the BA2 variant, which is an earlier variant. The BA5 variant is so different from all the variants, all the Omicron variants that came before it. It's very unlikely you have much in the way of protection from that prior infection.
CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder is editor-at-large at KFF's Kaiser Health News. She says this new subvariant is one reason why those eligible for a booster should not delay getting it.
People who are eligible for a second booster are people who are 50 and up or 12 and up and immunocompromised. You should go and get that second booster now.
Others are asking if there will be a specific vaccine for the BA5 variant.
Moderna and Pfizer are both working on these updated combo vaccines that will include the original formulation as well as a BA5 component. Those will not be available until probably late October, early November. So if you're eligible for a booster now, don't wait for that one. You'll still be able to get that one.
And what about the severity of BA5 in children? Dr. Gounder says we don't know much, but parents should get children vaccinated as soon as possible because tens of thousands have been hospitalized and hundreds have died from COVID.
And the CDC says the U.S. is averaging more than 120,000 cases a day, but with many people testing at home, the actual number is likely much higher. Galen Maxwell is now serving out her sentence in Florida. She's been transferred to the Tallahassee Federal Correctional Institution. That's a low-security federal prison. Now, if you remember, Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years last month for helping Jeffrey Epstein groom and sexually abuse underage girls. Epstein is the disgraced New York financier who moved in powerful circles with relationships to Britain's Prince Andrew and former presidents Donald Trump and Bill Clinton. He died in a Manhattan prison awaiting trial. And Virgin Islanders, you may want to grab a ticket. The Mega Millions jackpot has grown to $810 million after there were no winners to match all of Friday's numbers. Now, there were 4 lucky people who drew the first 5 numbers. They win $1 million each. But the $810 million jackpot is the 4th largest Mega Million prize ever offered. And if someone wins at that level, it'll be the biggest jackpot since the more than $1 billion prize was handed out in Michigan in 2021. Now, no one has been able to match all the numbers since April 15th, when someone from Tennessee won more than $20 million. The next drawing is this Tuesday night. Good luck. And part 1 of a special report aired Monday morning on CBS This Morning. It's a warning if you're traveling to Puerto Rico. David Bigno visited Culebrea off the main island to find out why that beach is struggling to save people from drowning. The answer may shock you. Here's a preview of his special report.
They're not emergency official. They're just 2 drivers, basically. That's what they are.
So this is essentially like a taxi.
Yep. Basically a taxi that says ambulance.
Again, if you missed Monday morning's report, part 2 will air Tuesday morning on CBS Mornings.